On 3, structures of HTTP data. HW1Q8. In this question, we need to use the basic structure of HTTP request. All right. When we send binary content, so one important data we need to send binary content this time, not text content. So it's different. Which of the following parts of the HTTP request contains the binary content? First, let me give you a general picture about HTTP request data. All right, then you can answer this question easily. All right, here let me draw a diagram to represent HTTP request data. All right, suppose I use this block to represent HTTP request data. All right, so based on the HTTP protocol, 3 components. Component 1, component 2, and component 3. Here, let me give you the details of these 3 components so you can understand better. All right, component 1, just one line, okay? Top line, so we call the request line. So I do not need to repeat it. So that's the request line, all right? Just one line, okay? It contains several pieces of information, but the most important information it contains URL part plus another piece of information, query string, All right, so what is the query string? First, let me use an example to explain it, okay? Let me use a simple example to explain this important piece of information. All right, suppose our web application is running in a domain. So here, let me just use http://www.mydomain.com. All right, slash. All right, so then change the line. But you know, so we need to write one big line. So my web app, for example, web application. All right, then, so this is the URL part. All right, although you can put some path, but here for simplicity, I just do the query string. After the URL part, there is a question mark. After question mark, then the query string. So what's the query string? It typically contains parameter and a value pairs. Multiple pairs, okay? Each pair, you have a parameter name, parameter value. All right, so here, let me use a simple example. First name, for example, all right? FN, first name, equals XX, for example. So that's the first pair of parameter, first parameter value pair. Equal sign, separate. Parameter name, parameter value. All right. Ampersand, second parameter. Last name, LN equals YY, and so on. if you have more, you can add, more ampersand, then more the pattern parameter name equals parameter value, and so on. So this whole thing together in one line, that is the main piece of information in the request line. All right, that's the structure, basic information. After that, next block, request the header part. You can put multiple headers. Many lines, each line corresponds to one header information. How many header lines? Depends. Sometimes you may need to use more header lines, so that can vary. Just certain number of header lines. All right. For example, here, so what information you place in the header lines? For example, IP address. All right. The user's IP address encoded in this header part. All right. And another, user's agent information. What's the user agent's information? Your operating system, the web browser type, version, that kind of information about your user's web browser, the client web browser information, user's agent, and many other pieces. All right, so that's the header part. All right, after the header part, then there is one line, and this is a blank line. Blank line to separate the header part, this header part, all right? Then the body part, message body part, all right? Because if you do not use the blank line to separate, what is the boundary, right? What is the boundary between request header part and request body part? So here, blank line is used as the separator. Right. So then the body part, right? The body part, you can store the data, typically store data, right? Mainly typically store the data. All the data, the main part of the data is, you can put it in the body part. All right. But for the body part, so there is a text part. The parameter value, name value, parameter name value, you can also store in the body part, all right? But after the text part, there is an attachment. Attachment part. And in this part, you can put is the place to put the binary data, all right? You cannot put in the text part, all right? So text part and attachment separate. So the binary content can only go to the attachment part of the request body. Message body. Message body. So that is the typical structure of HTTP request. All right. And here, because here, this question, I only ask you the structure of the HTTP request. Similarly, you can get HTTP response data. The response data has the similar structure, still 3 components, but the response line, response headers and response body. Yeah, the three parts. Definitely the content inside could be different, right? The content inside could be different, yeah. But the structure, similar. Oh, also the blank line, also used to separate response headers and the response body part. The body part. All right, yeah. So with this background information, if you have a picture of this basic structure information in your mind, and then later when you try to understand HTTP-based client-server communication, you can get a better understanding. All right, yeah, so that's for the question number 8. All right, so we start 8.3 here.